Series on budgeting that I'm doing, this is going to be a little longish, so please bear with me. Is it a joy of budgeting or a pain of budgeting? Have you ever wondered? Because when you start, it looks pretty painful. This is like learning the tables. But when you learn the tables later on, when you're doing things like factorization, etc., you thank yourself saying, okay, with the minute I see 56, I can see 7 and 8, right? That is the advantages of budgeting. Yes, the start may not be very easy, but there is one basic human character which is what you're trying to fight. That is called the short-term pleasure versus the long-term necessity. So take a typical sweet, maybe a rasgulla, it's very sweet, you love it. And you realize one thing, it stays for about 30 seconds on your tongue. It is 30 seconds of pleasure, and it is 30 years it stays in your waist. So which means it is short-term pleasure, but really long-term pain. Now when you spend money also, it is largely short-term pleasure which you are seeking, and maybe the pleasure ceases, if not in 30 seconds, in 30 minutes. You buy something, till you buy it, you need it desperately, and you keep wondering how you can live without it. But once it is bought, you may not use it much. I have tons of such things. I have extra pairs of gym gloves. I've got a water bottle which cost me approximately 5,000 rupees a few years ago, and till it came I was wondering how can I do cycling without the Camelback 3 liter water bag. I have not used it more than 3-4 times, right? So largely you accumulate things saying you must have it, how can you live without it, or under pressure everybody is buying a big box of protein, and you think, oh, you need this, and later on you find that you don't like it. For some reasons you think you should not eat it. You think that it has got some side effects, so you bought it, you kept it, and it is beautifully collecting dust at home. Many such things, right? So whereas when you do budgeting, you will find that you don't have money for all that, because you got to pay yourself first. You have to make sure that your retirement goal is in place, your daughter's education is in place, all those things. When you put all that in place, you really do not have too much time and money to waste. So you see how time gets wasted. Time never gets wasted in big chunks. It always gets wasted in watching those 5-minute YouTube videos or 3-minute videos or some very sweet animal reunion, right? That is where time gets wasted, in such small things. You also look at the wrong choices which we always make. In case of a lecture and halfway break or a tea break, you find that the worst biscuits in terms of calories or sugar get eaten first, right? The Mary biscuit lies in the corner, nobody touches it except for those latecomers who realize that all the sweeter biscuits have gone, right? So we always make those kind of choices, and we blame others for our weight and for our inability to save money or invest money, right? Another worry is when you start with very strict budgeting, writing down all expenses in the proper boxes, etc., that also will not work. So start writing in very broad boxes, saying this is entertainment, this is for future, this is absolutely necessary, current expenses, right? So when you keep big broad boxes, that itself is enough. It will mean that it is easier to write those things. Also remember, many of the things which you sign up for monthlies, like your anything, like your cable TV or your newspaper or any of those things, you may be signing up because it's only 180 rupees per month or 240 rupees per month. Then over a year it is 3,000, and over 10 years it is 30,000. And it has just become a habit, and you're not even using it. For example, during this COVID crisis, my wife was convinced that the coronavirus will spread through the newspaper, so she told the newspaper fellow not to supply newspaper, and this is a newspaper which we have already paid for. We don't have to do anything, we have to just give the coupons and the paper comes. However, because of the corona worry, she didn't want to open the door to strangers, so one stranger to be eliminated is the paper wala. He's been eliminated. Last 4 months we have not seen the newspaper, and we are not missing it also. So newspaper is not so much of a money point of view, but look at any of your monthly expenses which you have signed up. See whether you are really using it. If you are not using it, just cut it. And if you have not used it for 3-4 months, 6 months, you realize that cutting it also it will have no impact. Now will I go back to buying a newspaper after this crisis is over? Extremely unlikely. Am I saving money? Not really. I mean, because all these newspapers are pretty subsidized in terms of cost of production is 15 rupees, it's selling it to you for 2 rupees or 3 rupees. So it's not really so much. I mean, I am not thrilled that I am saving 200 rupees a month. It does nothing to my life. But then there could be something in your life to which you have signed up which you are not using. Keep reviewing all that which is happening, right? Also be very careful when you are buying, because the salesmen are here to trap you. When you go to buy a car, they will not tell you the price of the car. They will tell you, sir, it is only 23,000 per month. It is only 42,000 per month. And then they will add a stereo to it and say it is only another 1,500 rupees per month. 1,500 rupees per month is 18,000 into 7 years. It's not small, right? You didn't want 1.5 lakhs for 2 lakhs for a music system. Your previous car itself traded in for only 2 lakhs. Would you want a new stereo system for 2 lakhs? I doubt it. But when they give you on a monthly basis, you feel like taking it. So be careful when you're signing up for any of the monthlies, whatever be the expense, right? Car salesman or even in how much you spend in your cash, make sure that you are writing down your cash expenses, your credit card expenses, etc. You know what you're doing. When you write down your cash expenses and after a week sit with your family, sit with your children, introspect and say, was this necessary, was this not necessary? For example, if your daughter is going around a lot in auto rickshaw, it might make far more sense from a health point of view to buy a 3,000 rupee bicycle if she is willing to ride it, and she can ride a bicycle beyond class 8. Right, so that's great. So I mean, here it is you're doing two things. You're making sure that she gets a healthier lifestyle. She can go out whenever she wants. She doesn't have to wait for an auto rickshaw. So you're doing all that and saving money, right? So writing down your expenses, seeing where you're spending is very useful, so that you then understand the requirement for budget. Then simplify as much as possible. Then avoid contracted service unless you're going to use it for the entire value of the contract. Make the most of trial period of new services. Almost every new service today gives you a free trial period. Try it during the trial period. If it's a 30-day trial, make sure that you use it for all the 30 days, see whether it is worthwhile, and then take it. Don't be in a hurry to sign up, right? So make a list of trial period properly. Periodically question why you're paying for any of the services, whether you can do it yourself. Sometimes you need it, sometimes you don't need it. It's not that everything you do not need. Some things you need, that's fine. Consolidate redundant services, throw it out, you may not need it. Everybody has different thresholds, right? So for you, the threshold for buying a t-shirt could be 2,000. Anything below 2,000 doesn't hit you, but your auto rickshaw threshold could be 300 rupees. So when you spend 210 rupees on auto, it doesn't bother you, doesn't hurt you, but you spend 350 rupees, you wonder, why did I do this? Or why did I take an Ola where I could have taken a rickshaw? Or, you keep questioning those things. Just be mindful about what you're spending, what you're eating, and whom you're meeting with, what you're doing, right? So introspection is always useful, and once you do all those things, you will find the need for budgeting, and then you will do the budgeting. And for heaven's sake, if you are lazy to do the budget, that's fantastic time to get your 8th standard kid to write down all the expenses that you are incurring, your wife is incurring, involve her. She will know what's happening. 8th standard, 9th standard is a good time when you can teach her how to make your payments for utilities, electricity, etc. It's a fantastic exercise to involve the family to do this. So you're achieving 2-3 things. You're telling them, look, making a budget is not a painful thing. It's a great family activity. You're teaching the child, you're showing the child how much you're spending, what you're spending, etc. So the kid also knows what you're doing. And this is going to be very useful for the kid in the later parts of her life or his life. So that's financial teaching. Nobody can do financial teaching for your children other than you. No school, no college, no office, no mutual fund, no insurance company, nobody. Everybody has a vested interest in how finance is taught to your children. The only person who does not have a vested interest in teaching your children money is you. Use this budgeting exercise as a great tool to sit with your kids and make them understand what you're doing. It's perhaps the best thing that you can do, especially during a lockdown. Thank you.